Now, I'm going to try to make sure this isn't another half-hour rant. It won't be. So, it was 100 years ago that the NHL came into being, and safety gear wasn't really, but there was no slap shots, there were no bent sticks. It was Stan Mikita started bending his stick. It's just kind of one of those fluky things. Then he started melting it down and changing it, and all of a sudden all the Blackhawks are like, hey, it works for him. And then the NHL had to step in and go, all right, we have to regulate how these sticks are bent. Which is funny. I always kind of wish that the NHL didn't. I always wish the NHL had just said, you know what, the players can have the stick bent whatever way they want. Whatever curve they want, they can have it. They want to curve it so that it's like a flippin' boomerang on the end of a piece of wood, go for it. I'm well aware that boomerangs, they don't actually, because people are like, wait, they don't, I know. And yet you guys got what I meant. My point is, so they did that with sticks. Then there's the incident where a player's head hits the ice and he passes away. The league's like, oh, you know, if players wore helmets, we could probably prevent this. It's years before they mandate helmets. Years. The guy died on the ice. Years. Years. And even then, I'm old enough to remember when guys didn't wear helmets. I watched Guy Lafleur. I watched Craig McTavish. I watched Terry O'Reilly. I'm just trying to think, like, who else was there? There was a number. There were a number of guys who didn't wear helmets when I watched hockey as a kid. It was kind of fun, because you knew when they got the puck. And you'd always hear as well, like, there's so much more personality with these guys without helmets, you know? They're taking the personality out of the game by forcing everybody to wear a helmet. The guy out there with his hair just flowing, it's the personality of the game. And you'd see highlights of Bobby Orr and highlights of all of these guys from the days gone by who didn't wear helmets. And how pure the game looked. Goalies. Goalie masks weren't a thing. Till Jacques Plante was like, alright, so I'm going to wear one. Broke my nose, I'm going to wear one. And his GM is like, yeah, well, if you keep wearing it, we're going to get rid of you. Think about it. So, fast forward to the late 90s, early 2000s, and the visor. That's right. Those Europeans brought that dirty visor over. The visor doesn't protect your eyes. It just means so that when you pick a fight, the guy will break his hand trying to punch through fiberglass. Was the visor, if you got a visor, you should just take your helmet off at the start of a fight and be a man about it. Of course, the NHL doesn't allow that anymore. Not on purpose, you have to make it look like an accident. But eventually, the NHL said, yeah, everybody coming into the league has to wear a visor. And now I don't really hear it. I don't hear so-and-so's a coward with a visor. Or other colorful language I heard about guys who wore visors. Last week I did a video on shot blocking. Everybody said shot blocking is part of the game. You can't take it out. You can't take it out. It's part of the game. Even though it wasn't part of the game 20 years ago. And even though bench clearing brawls were a part of the game and they took that out, it wasn't the players that decided to take it, it was the league. But since players should be trusted, all right, well, if you're not going to, if they're going to keep diving face first at pucks, then we have to talk about wearing a full face guard. Absolutely. It is time to bring the cage into the NHL. There was an interesting point that was raised, and I'm trying to remember which broadcast I was watching, where they said kids wear the full face cage, and at some point we let them take it off. Why? What part of the game gets safer that they shouldn't be wearing a face guard? Either little kids don't need it, or big kids do. At what point does the game get slower? At what point do the shots get slower? At what point does falling down on your face become less painful and less injurious? When you're further away from the ice that you're falling to? I don't think so. At some point in time, the NHL is going to have this conversation about mandating players coming in. It'll be grandfathered for all of the veteran, grizzled old-timers who are like, I want to lose my teeth like a man. They will be allowed to lose all of their teeth like a man. They can either pick them up off the ice or they can find them in concessions after the game. They can even autograph them and give them to fans. But the fact is, at some point, either they will bring in a rule about shot blocking. Because again, every game now I'm seeing like a shot to the face or shot to the back of the head. A puck that deflects off of a stick that hits the guy in the face, and it's like, what are you doing? That wasn't even going to hit the net. So if this is part of the game, and apparently that's an entertaining part of the game, I personally, for me, I don't find it entertaining to see a puck go off a guy's stick and hit him in the face and send him to the hospital. I don't find that entertaining. And I don't find shot blocking particularly entertaining either. I want to see shots on net and I want to see goals. That's entertaining. But if that's what's entertaining, you have to bring in some kind of face cage, some kind of a protector. Because the biggest joke in the NHL is the way that these kids, and it's mostly the younger players, skate around with their mouth guards hanging out of their bloody mouths. That shouldn't be allowed. I'm serious. If a mouth guard is required, you should be required to wear it properly. How many times have we seen a guy go down to the ice and his helmet just falls off because they don't have the chin straps done up tight enough? Again, if it's not on tight enough, it's not helping you. It's fake. It's sort of like, well, my seatbelt's pulled over me, but I don't have it done up. Cops won't know. No, but the windshield's going to find out when you hit something. This is stupidity. This is why I don't trust players to police themselves, because they don't. You can't wear your helmet so loose that it falls off every time you sneeze. It's not protecting you. It's dangerous because you're playing just as hard as everybody else and you're not protected like everybody else. So I fully believe the time is going to come where the NHL says, all right, we trusted the players to police themselves. Now we got to take care of them. Or they start penalizing shot blocking. It has to be one or the other. Because the amount of players that are getting hit in the face, hit in the head, and I'm not talking, and the funny part is, it's like there was this jinx on this channel when it was said. Somebody said, that doesn't hurt. And every play I've seen since then, the guy's either got up spitting teeth, chin split open, or just out of the game. It hurts. It's injuring players. And when players get injured, owners aren't getting the return on their investment. When owners aren't getting the return on their investment, they look to change the rules to make sure they do. That comes through Gary Bettman. I do expect to see something get done on this. Not this year. They have other things to fix this year. But it has to be coming down the pike. Because it's getting ridiculous. If you're going to put your stick out and you're going to put your face in the way of every puck and you're going to put your life and limb at risk to block every single shot taken in the direction of the net, whether they're going to hit it or they're going to go into the upper deck, then make them wear the face cage. It's not that bad for your vision, because if it was, little kids wouldn't learn how to play hockey very well, would they? And there's ways of modifying everything. Bauer would be all over this. Oh, we can make a face cage that won't impede their view. We got this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And hey, I'm not saying that I'm anti-shot blocking in this. I'm saying whether you're pro or you're anti, this is, I believe, what's going to happen. Let me know why I'm wrong, and I'll talk to you again soon.